Good morning. My name is Matthew. Hebrews 11, 1 defines faith as confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. We all have our own journeys through faith. Some never waver in their faith and stay pretty consistent, and some may lose some faith in moments of sadness or grief. I had a moment in my life when I was pretty sure I had lost my faith. Back in March of 2011, my grandma was diagnosed with breast cancer. I was about 6 years old at the time. When I heard about it, I remember being so angry and hurt and asking myself, why her? At that time, I was going to St. Alphonsus for church and their Sunday school. One of the days, we were talking about how everything God does is for a reason. This brought me comfort, knowing her life was in God's hands. After that, I wasn't mad anymore. I realized that my grandma would get better with the help and support from her family and the many, many prayers that I prayed. She ended up recovering. A couple years later, the Sunday school switched to being Wednesday nights at St. John's at Twin Lakes. After I finished my 5th grade year, I stopped going to church as often as before. I had just joined my Boy Scout troop and couldn't find time anymore between everything me and my family were involved in. When I was entering 7th grade, my grandma had been diagnosed with breast cancer again over the summer. I once again was very mad and confused about why this had to happen to her a second time. Around the middle of September, things started to go bad. My grandma was hospitalized, and I was dropped off at my uncle's house while my mom went to go visit my grandma. When my mom came to pick me up, I knew something was wrong immediately. My grandma had passed away. When I got home, I immediately went into my room and sat in my bed alone with my thoughts. There were a lot of whys and hows that were going through my head. After she passed, I didn't connect with God a whole lot until I started my 8th grade year at the middle school. I signed up for an after-school program at Emmanuel called Vibe. I went there only knowing a few people. After a couple days there, I heard about the youth group that the church offered from the Vibe director, Holly. I told my mom about the group, and she said that I could go. I'm so grateful that I have family, especially my mom, that supports me, encourages me, and raised me with the opportunity to know the Lord. After the meeting, I realized that I wanted to be a part of that group that was helping kids my age connect with God. After a few months went on, things were going great in youth group, and the winter retreat was coming up. I immediately signed up. On the way there in the van, a couple things happened that I still laugh about today. I realized that it was going to be a great weekend. That weekend was probably one of the best church experiences I've ever had. Pastor Paul made learning about Jesus fun. I was actually learning and connecting the dots. I met so many like-minded kids there that all have different faith journeys. Since that trip, I've been trying to convince some of my friends to join. I've been unsuccessful so far, but I'm still trying. As a Christian, an important part of my faith to share the hope of Jesus and what life with him can offer. Psalm 96:3 says, "Declare his glory among the nations, his marvelous works among all the peoples." I look forward to building a deeper relationship with the Lord on the many different paths that I'll walk through in my life, the people that I come across, and in the way the Lord speaks to me in his living, breathing words. Thank you.